We are Emily and Scott Armstrong. We're the coordinators of Mesoamerica Genesis for the Mesoamerica region. Maybe you've heard about it before. It's an urban initiative to put the Church of the Nazarenes in some of the biggest cities that we have in our entire region. I remember when we first started this project. In fact, we're coming up on 10 years. We launched the idea in Focus in Panama in 2012. Were any of you in Focus in Panama in 2012? Some of you were only 10 years old at that point in time. But we launched it at a youth congress, and we had the idea of sending many missionaries all over our region to help spread the Church of the Nazarene in places where we were not yet. At that point in time, we started to realize that those places ended up being some of the biggest cities of our region. And Genesis took on an urban feel, an urban flavor. And one of the statistics as we've been researching and praying and asking God to continue to open our hearts and our minds to what He wants to do in Mesoamerica is 80% of our population already lives in a city. We are one of the regions that is most urbanized in the entire world. That means 8 people out of 10 live in a city already. However, our Nazarene population does not reflect that reality. Of our Nazarene churches, we only have about 30%. And so 3 out of 10 Nazarene churches are in the city. That statistic to me means we've got a little bit of work to do. We're so glad that Mesoamerica Genesis has been in existence for almost a decade.
Yeah, we did start 10 years ago, and we started it at that Congress, but our first missionaries arrived in Veracruz, Mexico, and in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic in 2014. Now, one story from one of the churches that was planted in 2014 still continues to this day. It's Almirante is the name of the church. And here in Santo Domingo, hey, full disclosure, we are actually recording this in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic right now. And that church was planted. It was in 2016. The missionaries headed out after their 2 years of service. A local pastor continued the work. That church is now planting other churches, and there has been another church that has been fully organized in a place called Boca Chica just recently. This is awesome, a huge success story, and you all are a part of that. And so we want to just encourage you to continue to be a part of that. So one of the places, Emily, that they can find more information is our website, Mesoamericagenesis.org. There you can find some of the statistics, such as we've sent 41 missionaries to 11 different cities in the last 8 years. You have been a part of that. But how else can they kind of train themselves to be better in their city and more effective and learn more about Genesis?
We love that Genesis has taken on this mentality of we send missionaries and missionaries do the work in the city. But God has challenged us in the past 3 years to say it's not just missionary work. It is the work of the local church. And so we invite you to be a part of what God's doing in our cities. In this year, we invite you to educate yourself more, to train yourself more. We have been working really hard to put out really good resources for our churches on that same website, Mesoamericagenesis.org. But we also would invite you to listen to the Worthless Servants podcast. Yeah. We get a lot of flack about that name, I'll tell you that.
Kind of a weird name, but it's an important name.
The Worthless Servants, if you want to know why it's called that name, I would encourage you to listen to the very first episode. You can find it, but all throughout those episodes, you're going to hear us talking about God's mission and how that intersects with the urban mission as well. We also would invite you to check out that website because there is a curated blog page that is dedicated to becoming a missional church in your city. We invite you to be a part of those things and to be aware of what's coming in the future. I'm going to give you a sneak preview. We are working on tools that you can use in your local church so that you too can start bringing in the missional DNA of God into your local churches.
We want to challenge you in this month and in this next year, 2022, to pray. Would you pray for new missionaries, for workers for the harvest? Would you pray that we'd be able to get to San Juan, Puerto Rico and Mayagüez, Puerto Rico? Those are places that we're going to need visas. In fact, that kind of guides me to the next request. And that request is that you would give an offering. That would you just be generous and give to Genesis? Now, the way that we use that offering, I want to let you know, are for two main reasons. For the training of our missionaries, whether it's virtually or whether it's in person, if COVID permits that we can have an in-person training, but also for their visas and residency. We have no other avenue of funding for those important things, and so that is what is helping. Your offerings are helping us to do that in an effective way. And then also, our final thing, would you pray and also think about how God would use you in your city, in your country, in your context, wherever you are living. We have realized that we can send out missionaries. We have realized that we can train them and equip them. We've realized that we can put some materials online. But we're not going to see a revival in our cities until every Nazarene, every Christian starts to be an agent of change and of serving and of loving their city. That's what our hope and our prayer is for you. So from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, from the Genesis Regional Office, we want to say thank you for collaborating. Thank you for being a big part of what God is doing in the cities of the Mesoamerica region. May God bless you, and may you bring a Genesis to your city.